Shalom, welcome to the Jewish View. My name is Rabbi Nachman Simon with the Chabad House of Delmar, together with my co-host Marc Gronich of jbiztechvalley.com and Statewide News Service. Welcome, Marc.
It's good to be here.
And Marty of KeHe.
Marty Stein of KeHe Food Distributors.
Very good, Marty.
And
you're
a
a
judge at
judge.
Kosherfest.
Yeah, I was just going to say you're a judge.
Because it's unusual to have someone from a smaller type of kosher market be such a prominent judge and such a prominent person at Kosherfest.
Five judges from the United States.
Five. You were one
You're
of five.
one of five. That's excellent.
Wonderful. I mean, that's a great representation for this area. It really, shkoyach.
Yeah, now you have to bring in a lot of more kosher food into the area.
I'll do the
if you
best
have
I can.
So much
Okay.
pull over here. Marc, I thought when you brought all this food, this is going to be our lunch, but tell us what you're bringing.
Well,
Tell what happened over here.
I think we need to start off with breakfast first, but I just want to tell you, at Kosherfest, a lot of the theme was either for Hanukkah or Pesach. So a lot of the ordering for Pesach goes on now, believe it or not, even though it's 6 months out, and a lot of whatever. And then we have the Hanukkah is around the corner, so a lot of the items were focused on that, but then you had other items which were focused on health and just general food, good foods. And boy, I'll tell you, I'm getting real hungry just looking at all this.
But you know, I want to explain to you why you think it's like a little weird talking about Passover when Kosherfest is always around October, November. And hey, you know, like that, you're thinking about Hanukkah and no one's thinking about Passover now. But the orders have to come in, the production has to be made. And if you look at the stores nowadays, everybody, you know, Thanksgiving, they're starting September nowadays in the stores, but also with kosher. By February, they're packed. So even though you think we're 4 or 5 months away when Kosherfest happens, by the time you take the order and you gear yourself up and you make it and distribute it and you put it on the shelves, you're really just right around the corner.
Let's continue talking about Pesach. Here's matzola, which is something that, you know, they have the pea here, but they also have parva. And that's something that has, you know, both, it says Passover and parva, so you could see it. But matzola, I'm hoping that we could get this here for Pesach in this area. And if you want this, you should really go to the stores. It's Foodman's Original Matzola, Matzo Granola, Breakfast and Nosh. And this is maple nut. So it's sodium-free, it's good source of fiber, it's cholesterol-free.
I think it's an important point, Marc, to emphasize what you're saying, is that we're going to show you, you can see in yourself on your screen, that there's so many new products, and even if it's not new, older products, but most of these products we don't get in Albany. Obviously, there are a lot of kosher products people know for Passover, but people shouldn't think, oh, it's the same old few things that are there. There are more things, and again, like you just said, if you you just tell the managers, hey, we'd like to have more of a variety, they will order it.
Yeah, because the consumer is the number one priority, so that's what I was told at the Kosherfest at least. Anyway, Manischewitz, you know, puts out macaroons. Now, I'm not a big fan of the coconut macaroons, so when I saw this pistachio orange, I really had to take this back and to show everyone that
you have a taste of it? Did you taste it?
I did taste it. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Really?
Absolutely phenomenal. And I got to tell you a quick story about Manischewitz. I know we got a lot of things here to go through. But Manischewitz, the name was not really Manischewitz. The gentleman who started the company was named Abramson. And what he did was when he left Europe, he actually, they told the story at Kosherfest, he actually took the ID or the passport of a dead individual named Manischewitz.
Really? I never knew that.
And so so he came over with the name Manischewitz, but that wasn't his real name. And you know, when you're saying Manischewitz, you might have been saying Mano Abramson.
I know that's a good story.
But he really wanted to, so he started this company, Manischewitz.
1888 in Cincinnati.
That's right, 1888. And it was such a,
Must have been a hit.
Rabbi Abramson, he was a Lithuanian Jew. And yeah, what he says here, he's bought a dead man's passport. Okay, Dove Bear Manischewitz. And if he hadn't done that, it wouldn't, okay. So, so the brand came over in Europe in 1886, and it did not have kosher supervision. Now, the interesting part about kosher supervision is that most people back in the late 1800s, turn of the century, basically before the 1930s, if you felt that you were comfortable with the product and you were sure on your own where that product came from, you were comfortable with it, you ate it, and you considered it kosher. Now, one of the examples that were given at the seminar was Goldenberg's peanut chews, which everyone loved. It was in the 1970s. It hit a top, and they ate it in yeshivas.
Yeah.
But it never had a hechsher.
Kosher
Never had a
symbol.
kosher certifying symbol. It didn't have it. But everyone was were certain that it was kosher.
Because of the name Goldenberg?
Well, and the way it was produced, and just the word got around that it was kosher, and it didn't need the certification. And even as late as the 1970s, it was just on trust. Then in 1981, recently as 1981, just 30 years ago or so, it was a revolution where all the certification, started up, and everything had to be certified and put. No one was buying anything without the hechsher. So that changed, but it wasn't until recently that it changed. I mean, there were some kosher symbols in the 1880s and 1900s and Heinz and all the others, but it really wasn't a formal thing until 1981, according to what I was told at the seminar. So
very interesting. So this is really a boom, 30 years, and look at the products.
Really
of course, we're
is,
not
yeah.
all the products, to say the very least, but
Now-
you see the boom in kosher industry.
Right, now you look at these, cheese is really
Show
come
us a few
long way.
things.
You got Romano cheese,
Hold on.
Pecorino, and you think Milano's, well, how Milano's couldn't be kosher, but it is.
It is.
And it's gluten-free, it has no fillers, it's, it's just, and it tastes great, it really does. So, and then you have Stark, which, Milano's you'll see in Albany, but Stark I haven't seen in the Capital District. And Stark is very good cheese. I mean, this just melted in my mouth when I saw it. And here, again, with all the different symbols, you can talk about all the different symbols on it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get a close-up view of this Starks that you see, maybe you can't even see it, there's way on the bottom, there's 4 different kosher symbols. And again, that people want to be sure it's kosher, just really the opposite of the revolution, what Marc was saying, that no one cared, all right, kosher, cheese, who cares? But now people want to be so sure that it's kosher. There's 4 different symbols on it, just that there's super trust in every community.
And explain Cholov Yisroel, it says in Hebrew, Cholov
Well, you're not going to read, it's in Hebrew,
So-
Cholov Yisrael. Very important. Now, the ultra-Orthodox nor the Hasidic, it goes like this, that they want to be sure it's kosher. What do I mean by that? I mean, you're going back just even 100 years. Like, say, you don't have to go back 1,000 years, but surely thousands of years ago. How would they keep kosher? That some farmer would come in with his milk pail and say, okay, you want to come into town here? So that's all it was. I mean, even 100 years ago, you can imagine, even in America. And then, it says, listen, a little more profit. I'll put some horse milk in there, a little pig milk in there, and I'll make another few dollars. So therefore, the rabbi said, we have, again, what you said, the trust. We want to make sure that they're supervised, and that's what Cholov Yisrael means. It's milk supervised by a Jew. Now, many products, I don't know if I just pick out one, will show you that there's OUD, that is just dairy. I think this is one of them.
Yeah.
Here, this is OUD, and this is dairy, because the D stands for, if we can get a close-up view of it.
Down a little.
Yeah, down. Well, way on the bottom there, you see, maybe it's very hard. There it is. Excellent. Good cameraman here. OUD, D stands for dairy. The OU means it's kosher, but since it doesn't say Cholov Yisrael special kosher, it's just regular dairy. And of course, OU is the Union of Orthodox. It is Orthodox. On the other hand, that the idea is that, let's say practical, maybe you're thinking to yourself, all right, nowadays, come on now. The milk, what's the doubt? What do you think? Do you think that there's going to be pig milk or horse milk in my gallon of milk that I buy in the grocery store? And obviously, I'd have to admit it's close to zero. But since the rabbis enacted it, then you have to keep to it. I told you the reason for it was a good reason, but that's what they keep to it. So a lot of people say, come on, I know I'm not going to eat or drink horse's milk, pig's milk. I don't want that. but it's enough that one rabbi went in there once a year and saw there's only cows. So that's why, that's the answer to the Cholov Yisroel. A lot of people, a lot of people in New York, especially hold by the Cholov Yisroel. Marty's got some.
This is the winner in the classification of the best dairy product. It's 3 kinds of cheese: cheddar, pepper jack, and Gouda. It's very good for gift baskets, and it has long-keeping capabilities. And we thought it was the best in the category at the show.
This is the Jewish version of what Hickory Farms offers. So this is the kosher version.
I guess you could say pretty.
Now, it won because you were judged because of the taste or the packaging?
Packaging, taste, and price. And
All these three major factors.
Three.
So if you want to see this packaging in the local
Versatility.
supermarkets, I think that
I'm pretty sure it will be here shortly.
I hope so.
I'm pretty sure.
I hope so. Now, the last week of December, there's a very popular holiday that's not a Jewish holiday.
November now.
No, the end of December. Last week in December is a holiday that's not a
Oh,
Jewish
yeah.
holiday.
We know that
That's
one,
But the cookies are very popular during that non-Jewish holiday. So to compete, Reisman's made Hanukkah cookies, and they had these. Now, this is not exactly on the health food side here. Hold this up.
Hold this up. Okay, yeah, there it goes. Again, I want to just reiterate what Marc is saying, and just because, listen, there's a lot of people out there that are Jewish people, and they see the Gentile, the non-kosher world. Hey, they're having this nice taste and all these kind of nice products. Hey, I don't want to just eat borscht and gefilte fish.
Right.
No, really, they
Right,
want to,
I know,
I
I know.
want the good things too. So just because it's not kosher, I can't have it. So therefore, people saying, hey, you want a cookie? Okay, here's a Hanukkah
Now,
cookie.
on the bottom of that packaging is a symbol that's called a dreidel. So, and dreidel has 4 letters on it. Go ahead, explain it.
All right. Well, we had the 2 letters you do see, even though it's 4-sided.
Yeah.
But in this picture, there's a gimel and the nun, and they stand for Nes Gadol Hayasham, that there was a big miracle happened there. And then kids play with it, maybe adults play with it too, that with the dreidel. And gimel then for Jewish gans means you take in the whole pot or you put in the pot. It's a little version of Las Vegas. And the reason why they had is because they had, again, 2,500 years ago when the holiday came about, 2,200 years ago, that they weren't allowed to learn. So they were learning, and the soldiers, the KGB, I'm making fun, obviously it wasn't KGB, but it's almost the same thing, would come into the Greeks would come in and they would see, hey, what are you doing here? And they'd take out a top. No, we're playing cards, or dreidel, we're playing with a top, and that became the custom.
Now, here's a Gedila made a special dreidel for the children, and that's called the Hanukkah Surprise, and I haven't opened this yet. So I want it here on Hanukkah Surprise, and English here on this side. So I'm going to
All right,
open
here we
this
go.
up,
Will you
and
win
I
$1 million
wanna see-
over there?
And I want to see what they put into this, and I was waiting all this time. So you got animal crackers, and
Yeah.
you got a few things here. You got a little candy pop, and you got OU, what are they called? Like
Smarties.
Pez candy,
Smarties.
Smarties.
Like Smarties.
Yeah, and you got fruit snacks, cherry
All right,
fruit
there you
snacks.
go.
So
So that's a nice
So
thing.
that's what
You won the
that's what's in
prize
here.
over here.
All right, so
So
that's.
you were going to get $1 million? Huh?
No, who knows? This isn't the Price is Right, but Price is always right when I'm with you, Rabbi. So when so that's
So
part
talk
of the
about a
fun.
few
so it's
other,
a really
yeah.
fun holiday, and Hanukkah is really marketed now. Where when I grew up, Hanukkah was just you lit a candle, you said a prayer, and you sang a song, and then you had latkes, and then you were done. There was nothing, we didn't exchange gifts, we didn't do anything about gift giving, but it was more spiritual. Now, everyone is making it more commercial, and now this year, Hanukkah begins before Black Friday, so now all the retailers are very upset because they're not going to get that extra bump on Black Friday from the Jewish community buying all the Hanukkah presents.
You know that the Gentiles kids always make fun of Hanukkah. Oh, you guys got 8 gifts for 8 days of Hanukkah. We have 1 day Christmas. So I'm sure they'll be buying also. Don't believe me.
One of the best-selling Hanukkah items is the chocolate coins.
Yes.
You have that there?
The
No,
chocolate
we don't
coins.
have them at the table, but
No, we
they're
don't.
very popular.
I didn't quite get them. Now, at Kosher, here's just hummus. And hummus is one of those crossover products that went from, here, hold this up, man, that went to crossover.
Mainstream.
It was mainstream from being a specialty item that was just from the Middle East. So we were able. So now the hummus is everywhere, and you can see.
You
I
see
got
there with bagels also. Bagels
Bagels
used to be
are-
a real Jewish thing.
bagels.
and all of a sudden
30
there's-
years ago, no one knew what a bagel was. Now no one knows what a bialy is. Now they got to figure out what a bialy is. So anyway,
So it's important that it helps.
But here are the bagels. This is, actually, I know the owner of this company. It's from Bell's Bialys and Bell Bialys and Bell Bagels. He
Bayside?
goes to my, in,
Bayside, right?
in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, okay.
Yeah, in Mill Basin. I
Okay.
grew up with, in Mill Basin, and this family is from there. So went to my synagogue down there. So that's the Brooklyn bagel.
Very good.
We got a lot of other, we got herring.
What do you
want
put
know
on the
herring?
bagel over here? That's
Well,
what
you
you
could
gotta.
put
You
herring.
can't just play. All right,
that's
there
a
you
good
go.
segue.
Yeah, all
It's a
right,
good
there you
segue.
go. What do you put on a bagel? What Jewish person see? Even though I was making fun, it's not fun. I eat borscht and gefilte fish too. But I mean, there's other things. But there are these traditional Jewish foods: a schmaltz herring, very good. All kinds of herring, tidbit herrings. What do you have?
Sure.
Matches herring.
Matches.
Matches herring.
And any of these from Russia?
Could be.
Because my friend likes Russian herring, and I didn't
I think
know.
the matches herring could be maybe from Iceland.
Oh, Iceland.
or
Oh.
Greenland.
Well, it's red on the bottom. It's red, so I don't know.
All right, so that's
anyway,
good.
I'm not a herring fan, but
I'll take the schmaltz herring, but all right,
okay,
you'll treat me
you
out.
got it. Okay.
And what else do we have?
Now
Something
we have
very.
tomato salad, which is very good, and I really think that
Yeah,
this could go mainstream, and I think that's something that it should be pushed a little bit more. I don't think that it's a
Specifically Jewish thing.
right. It's not specifically Jewish, but I want to talk about that fish over there.
Tuna. We have tuna
This
here
one
too.
just-
Oh, we got
fish?
tuna. Okay, well, we got
Well,
a fancy
tuna's
tuna with scallions in it. This has it's the fancy tuna product here. So there you go. Fancy tuna, scallions. Okay, and it really is tasty. It's from Golden Taste, and it's very tasty.
Yeah, well, I see it says crab on
Crab.
here.
Oh,
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Now we're
Hey,
not
hold
supposed to have
on.
crab.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, because when it's shellfish and
Yeah.
and,
It's gotta
and
be
bottom
fins and
feeders.
Got to be imitation crab.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, because
All right.
so what they do is they say that it's a white fish. It's a product of Thailand, just to show how far and wide over the world that kosher is popular. This was made in Thailand, and it's called Asian Star. It's seafood sticks. It's crab-flavored seafood
Yeah.
made from Pacific whitefish and artificial flavor, leg style. Okay, so for those who've never, and you could see it says kosher
Parva.
parva. So.
So that's, again, it's just, I've been reiterating it 10 times, but that's very important. A lot of people who keep kosher didn't keep kosher beforehand. They said, hey, you know, when I listen, now I can't have the bacon or something, so now there's bacon bits. Hey, you know, I like my crab and I like my lobster. You know, why do I have to do without it? Well, it's not kosher, but then, of course, the supply and demand, and of course, now you have
So
crab fish.
So can you explain for the audience and for my sake also, what goes on with confusion with the children? I mean, you have some of the par of cheese, or you have coconut milk, and that's par of. So if you mix milk and meat, you know, the kids will get confused. And then all of a sudden, you know, you got issues and problems.
It's an incredible issue that, Marc, you're talking about. It's called in Hebrew Marasayim, meaning, well, people would come in if we would be eating, you know, let's say, like you're saying, coconut milk with our hot dog. Marty would come in and saying, hey, well, Rabbi, meat and milk. Hello, you're not keeping kosher. What's wrong with you? What kind of rabbi is this? So that is an issue, and you should be above suspicion. Of course, you say, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. God knows, well, God knows, but you have to be careful that everybody knows also. So it became an issue also, you think anciently was coconut milk, but obviously it's very modern margarine. So people would cook with, wait a minute, there's margarine, you know, on the table, that's butter. What are you putting butter on which of course is dairy, on a meat dish?
Right.
So nowadays the issue would be is because it's so well known
Yep.
that margarine is normal, and I don't know
Right.
statistics that people use margarine more than butter. Maybe they do or don't. I don't know the numbers.
No, but you get.
But it's normal again.
Yeah.
That's the point. And also
But
that
this is
people
not
know,
normal to have crab and coconut milk, and to have to put the gray areas in and to blur the boundaries.
And it's a good point, but again, nowadays it's just known. You can have the and whatever it's made of, different kind of fish or different tastes. So
All right, when we get more sophisticated, we'll put a poll up and we'll see who knows.
Many years ago, when kosher oleo was introduced on a parve basis by Manischewitz and others, it was revolutionary. Now it's just common.
yeah, see, that's it. So that's really the answer. If it's revolutionary, so people are going to come in, hey, what are you doing? But now saying, all right, I know you wouldn't do it, and there's so much kosher things going on.
Well, as we're talking about tuna and herring, and we got more fish, we have smoked salmon, KeHe salmon. It's wild river salmon, and you can see the packaging of how this is shrink wrapped, and it lasts longer, and you don't get freezer burns. And here's something that's a little bit more. Here's something that's smoked. And it's a little
Easily
fancier.
displayed in the store with the J-hook capability.
That's right. So you don't need shelf space. You could just hang it, and it's really, again, we don't see this in the Capital District very much, but these are
The products are there.
that are out there.
They're relatively new.
I want to show you, why don't you show
Well,
the
good. We should
organic
be on the
again.
cutting edge, and we should have them here. And we should have new things here. This is organic painting.
Again,
Penny.
that's
Penny.
important. Again,
Penny.
I mean, I've been saying constantly, it's like people think, oh, high cholesterol, schmaltz, and all that. Here, the kosher market is working on organic, natural, this was the fish, you didn't see it close up. It says wild caught, which of course they say is healthier. And just how people, again, supply and demand, people are health conscious. The world is health conscious. To see there's many people who keep kosher that are non-Jewish, and they're doing it because they say, hey, I just want extra healthy. I don't want to, chemicals are kosher to say the least, but if you put chemicals in it, but
Some
still,
chemicals are, not all.
not all, but I'm just saying there are preservatives that are kosher. It's not, doesn't make it non-kosher, but they want to be sure, with the China, there's no poison in there, and that the animals are fed well and not just tortured. And sometimes you have these kind of stories that come up, Mark. So therefore, you do have this idea where even non-Jews, hey, I want an extra quality of food, and they know they can get that with kosher.
Also, there's a lot of gluten-free here on the table.
Yeah, that's right.
Gluten-free is a very popular
Well,
category.
speaking of which, I don't believe this is, but it's all
I'm not
natural.
sure.
And
There's a lot of
it's,
Is that Zelda?
this is Zelda's. Now,
Okay.
I want to tell you, this has a local connection. So as I'm saying that a lot of these products are not found in this area, this, Zelda's babka, is likely to be found on the shelves at Price Chopper. I'm predicting this, no. Price Chopper sometime in probably by the beginning of 2014. It should be in the store shelves at Price. So you got
Very
cinnamon,
kind.
you got chocolate, and the way I
They have
know
loaf
this,
cakes too.
what is that?
Loaf cake.
That's going to be on the shelves in?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Muffins and More. That's a different
Okay,
brand.
well,
Yeah.
Zelda has loaf cakes, similar packaging.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we have the gentleman from Price Chopper who I spoke to, David Cologne. He does all the ethnic foods for Price Chopper, and he was at Kosherfest. So I asked him to get a little news out of this. And he says, the Zelda's babka, it just melted in his mouth, and he was raving about it, and he really wants to get it on the store shelf. So I think at least at Colony, you'll see it.
She also has caramel corn and biscotti.
Oh, Biscotti, I'm
Yeah.
glad you mentioned that, because we have Biscotti here, just so happens. We have a
Seems like you got everything over here.
And
Mark.
to tell you what Biscotti is, this contains wheat, flour, soy, and eggs, and it's produced in a plant that processes peanuts and tree nuts. But it's OU, and it's distributed by Royal Donuts. It's Pas Yisroel. Can you explain Pas Yisroel?
Right, another super kosher thing that doesn't have to be that way, but Pas Yisrael, that they want a Jewish bake. They were concerned about, the rabbis were concerned about intermarriage. Because listen, when you go out, what do you do with a person? You go out to dinner. Let's go out to dinner with each other. Let's have a drink. And that's friendship. For even today, that's the way you do. You have friends, invite them over to eat. So they didn't want to get people too friendly. Surely could be friendly with non-Jews. That's not the issue. But they didn't want you to get too friendly because then, think, hey, you got a daughter, I got a son, let's get together a little bit. And they didn't want that to happen, so they wanted to make a...
So what does Pas Yisrael?
Pas Yisrael literally means Jewish bread. I mean, bread is, and we had our bagel here,
Right.
and it does say Pas Yisrael on here too, that it's really bread of a Jewish person, because that's, again, a major meal is not just having
But there are some segments of Judaism that won't eat anything but Pas Yisrael.
Again, just as we said before with the Cholov Yisrael, the
Right.
Jewish milk, it is a law. It's not required.
Okay.
It's just it's a nice thing to do. And
Okay.
again, if they can get it, again, what you were saying about 30 years ago, these products wouldn't be found.
Right.
Or maybe one Jewish bakery in Borough Park or something like that. But now it's like you see, here's bagels going on and biscotti. And now it becomes more and more normal.
Now,
but
I have to tell you about the Biscotti story, because a lot of people, mandel bread's been a very popular item, a food item that came over from Europe. But people now, they didn't want you dunk it, it's very hard, and you dunk it in coffee or hot chocolate or something, and you eat it, that way. But these days, everyone likes biscotti. It sounds so much more foreign. Okay, so now everyone's buying biscotti. You got Starbucks selling biscotti to go with the coffee and all that. So all of a sudden, they're repackaging mandel bread and calling it biscotti. Now it's popular. Now we can have it. Now we want it. So this is why it's now kosher biscotti.
Well,
That's
they
the
must have got
story
it's a
behind
Jackie
that.
Mason joke. He says, people, Perrier, I want
That's right.
water. And she said, what's a Finkelstein water? You're going to drink Finkelstein?
Perrier, now you want it. You don't want it if it's not Perrier. So I wanted to just tell you that there's this company that people might be familiar with called Eden.
Yeah.
And they're changing their name to Began.
Why is that?
They have a name change, and you can go online and probably figure out, but they were putting these hats.
Giving hats.
They were giving out hats and also bags and all that to talk about their name change and to publicize the marketing of their name change. So you won't see, if you're looking for a Don, you won't see it anymore. You'll see Began and you'll know it's the same.
Well,
thing.
now, another thing, what's with these diapers here? You don't eat diapers
Why the
here.
diapers?
Well,
Hey, come on.
diapers.
Well, I'm not eating
okay.
those over
Well,
there.
I won't need diapers for a while. But it's approved for Shabbos and Yontiv. Now, why? Because if it's something, well, you want to explain it?
Well,
Or
there's
I
a
can
lot of
explain it, but-
Sabbath laws.
Yeah.
And one of the laws is, it's not just, of course, you don't work on the Saturday, which is simplistic, which is true, but there's more things than that. And therefore, you cannot rip letters, you cannot tear. So in any case, these are kosher diapers, is something which is very
Velcro,
interesting.
right?
Yeah, Velcro. Yeah, that's what it's on the bottom here. They can elastic, and they can. It's very good. Again, these are something
And so
that
you don't violate the laws of Sabbath and
Sabbath.
Yontiv by ripping and tearing, so they made a special diaper.
Kosher diapers.
Now, excuse me, but you have 13 children.
Right.
What did you do before kosher
that-
diapers, or did you leave that up to the missus?
No, that's an important point. First of all, Claire always liked using cloth diapers.
Okay.
But so just very ecologically correct here. But again, you can use it with pins. It's not the biggest thing in the world. But like I say, a lot of these ideas are extra. And again, this just shows the growing Orthodox market, where again, many of these items are just, the tastes are new, the kosher astringencies are new, kosher diapers, and it just shows the kosher market and Orthodox
As if
Judaism is
life's
growing.
not difficult already, you had to come
Make it
up
a little
with
more
these other.
difficult.
Now, you want to talk about Mikey Mac, because this won an award, and we hadn't
You're
had it
the
on the
judge,
show
okay.
yet.
Okay, this
but
is
Mikey Mac
this
is
is a
non-dairy.
non-dairy product. It's gluten-free, so being non-dairy, you can use it with meat or dairy, and it's very versatile.
How do you make cheese? What is it?
It's just
made out of?
artificial
It's all chemicals.
artificial ingredients.
Cheese and milk.
But it's got very good possibilities here. It's a very attractive package. It appeals to children.
Right.
And,
There's also
Are
a
there
thing,
other-
I just want to say, nowadays, that you were saying about gluten-free, and there's, I think 10%, but anybody wants to tell me they're correct, I think it's 10%, are lactose intolerant. So you have a lot of people like that.
That's right.
And you have, like, the gluten-free, you have peanut-free nowadays.
Well, I just want to ask you
Yeah.
quickly, Marty, is there anything else that you want to highlight on here?
This
that, because
was
we're running out of time?
very good. It's
The
has
blended-
the yogurt.
Oh, and they
And-
have the Greek yogurt, which is interesting
That's a new
because
thing.
we have Greek yogurt made in New York State, but this is made.
Where is
It's made elsewhere, but you know,
I
you
think
said
it's
it was
New York
Cholov
State.
Yisroel.
It's called
Yeah.
Yisroel.
Yeah,
So
Mahadran
that's the
surely
difference
is.
between Chobani and other products that are made in New York State. Those are in Cholov Yisrael. So maybe
So this
that's
is super kosher,
super
but,
kosher.
and just saying that, look here, just Greek yogurt, the most cutting-edge product.
The winner.
Yeah, you got a winner here? You're
That's
the
overall,
judge.
the overall
The overall
winning
winner.
product.
All right, there you go.
K-cups.
K-cups.
To go in your Keurig coffee maker, in case you didn't.
Hey, hot chocolate over
Hot
Parv
chocolate.
on top of that.
And,
Okay.
coffee and
So this has been a lot of
super
fun.
kosher.
This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We really got to come back and talk about this some more.
But there was
some
one
more
item
time.
that was not at the
Yeah.
show that caught my attention a couple of years ago.
Right.
It was a candy truffle in the form of a pig. And I said, boy, if that was ever kosher certified, that would be the only pig I could sell. And sure enough, 2 years later, they came out with came certified by the British Columbia kosher certification. And now I have a kosher pig to sell.
Yeah,
Mazel tov. Okay.
All right, Marty Stein of KeHe Distributors, thank you for being a judge and helping with the kosher.
My pleasure
Marc
to be
over
here.
here, I hope he invites us over to lunch.
Absolutely.
With all this
Lunch and
food over
dinner.
here. Thank you very much for everything.